The Carolina Panthers, I'm going to have you ponder this for just a hot second. Do they have the same question as the rest of the NFC South? ESPN putting out little storylines, training camp previews and whatnot, as does everybody else, CBS Sports and Yahoo and anybody you can think of. But when they focus on the NFC South, they focus on one clear position. You don't really need the Jeopardy theme in your head to figure out where I'm really going with this, and I won't make you wait any longer. We're talking about the quarterback position. And throughout the entire NFC South, the one thing that they point out, and it's inconsistent through the rest of this, the rest of the previews, they don't talk about the quarterbacking with San Francisco or the Rams. They don't talk about the quarterbacking position with Green Bay or Detroit. They're talking about, are windows closing, or are the coordinator changes going to work for them, or how's the first-year coach going to handle their business? Not a thing right now in the NFC South. The questions all come at the signal caller position. And so do you wonder, do the Panthers have the same questions as the other teams? And so I went digging a little bit. And we can start with Tampa, right? Tampa, while the rivalry is with Atlanta, I would suggest that Tampa is probably always and going to be the bigger threat in the division to the Carolina Panthers, just how it is. And I look at the Buccaneers, and they unloaded some positions at receiver, and this all goes and revolves around Baker Mayfield. And you look at it, his backup is Jake Browning, by the way. Jake Browning played for Cincinnati. That's his backup. Baker Mayfield last year played hurt pretty much all season, outside of week 1. Sprained ligaments everywhere. He had a bicep that was basically purple all season, a left shoulder injury. So how does this get him moving into a new season? I love Tampa's receiver room. Even with Mike Evans going out west to San Francisco, Emeka Egbuka, Jalen McMillan, Chris Godwin, the veteran, and Tez Johnson, who just slant you to death and then go deep. Baker Mayfield's got plenty of options. I'm not sure, really, the question about him does not compare to Bryce Young in terms of where the two are at. Baker Mayfield being a veteran, Baker Mayfield playing hurt all season long. The question is at quarterback. It's if he can survive a season. You have a year 2 quarterback in New Orleans with Tyler Shuck, right? It was him and Spencer Rattler, and Rattler couldn't quite get it going. And to be honest, I was quietly rooting for both guys. Rattler, who I saw as a prep in Arizona many, many years ago. Shuck, who played at Oregon, ended up at Texas Tech, but does all the right stuff. And now they've surrounded him. They've surrounded him with help that hasn't been available for anybody or any quarterback in New Orleans. The quarterbacks that they kept running out there, I'm like, is Taysom Hill still on that team? I think he is. Maybe he's not. I don't know. They were trying everything to get things going. They went out and signed Travis Etienne from Jacksonville to be their back. And so, Shuck, can he step forward? Now, I go, nothing's going to shake you in the boots harder than having to face Chris Olave and the revolving door of receivers in New Orleans. But somehow he got it done last year. And so can he get it done again this year? Again, different situation. It feels like that's a year 2 Bryce Young when they were trying to find Bryce Young weapons and finally got him Tet McMillan in year 3. And so I draw it at quarterback in terms of, yes, there are quarterback questions, but they're all different at this point. But still, unfortunately, we're still talking about the same position. That might be the only cross for all these franchises in the NFC South. And the Atlanta Falcons probably has the bigger thing to deal with because they let Kirk Cousins walk. Michael Penix Jr., who was starting, then tears his ACL. And so now he's got an ACL tear that he's recovering from in his left knee, and ACL recovery in his right knee, which he tore twice in college. And so what do? They go line themselves up to a Tagovailoa for a nothing contract. And Tua, under Mike McDaniel, had really nobody to throw with at the end of that run in Miami. Everyone was hurt. Like you saw the stories yesterday, you may have heard the stories. Tyreek Hill is not the cheetah anymore. He's a cheetah with 2 legs and hungry to play, but the speed is gone. Like he's probably going to be done in the NFL, and that's unfortunate. And nobody cares about your fantasy football teams, but that dude carried my fantasy football teams for a couple of seasons. But Tua was one of the best quarterbacks on the planet 3 years ago. And so Atlanta's got even bigger questions, even though they've got a truckload of weapons. Like, that is a threatening offense.
Threatening offense in terms of the skill position players, and then just a fearsome duo at quarterback of Michael Penix and Tua Tagovailoa. Could be, like you mentioned, like maybe a few years ago when Tua was kind of at his peak and he had healthy Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle playing well for him to throw to. He had some really good moments during that time, and it was putting together a pretty strong stretch of season. They went to the playoffs. I think they had the 1 year they went on the road to Kansas City and it was cold, so immediately they were just like, everybody knows the Dolphins are not about to beat the Kansas City Chiefs, and especially in cold weather. Or was it Kansas City or was it Buffalo? But they had to go somewhere cold on the road against a team that was clearly going to beat them, and then they easily got beat. In terms of the NFC South, like obviously there's all these questions for quarterbacks, and Bryce Young is just an eternal question, right? Like you never know if he's going to make the jump, although he's kind of been making this gradual progress year over year. Like he's getting better.
Is it enough though?
And that's the question, right? This eternal question. But if you look at this situation at quarterback for the Panthers versus these other 3 quarterback situations in the NFC South, I feel pretty good about Bryce Young because you've got Tyler Shuck, who's second year, and I'm not going to discount how well he's played against the Panthers in those 2 games last year, in games that they should have won both and ended up winning neither. And Baker Mayfield obviously is a good player. The injury issues and the chip he has on his shoulder, I guess, for Steve Wilkes, who's not with the Panthers anymore, but I don't know if he still holds that level of personal grudge against the organization as well. But the Bucs, I think, have gotten weaker around him. Like when you end up losing Mike Evans, and you've got Emeka Egbuka, who's a great young wide receiver, but he's not the level of like prime Mike Evans, or at least the last couple of years of Mike Evans before he got hurt last year. And then you look at Atlanta, again, great skill guys, but questions at quarterback, and they have a decent defense. But I feel good about where the Panthers are at. I feel good about where Bryce Young kind of stands in that quarterback ladder as they're coming off of that division title. I don't see any reason why they shouldn't be competing to win the division again this season. It's either going to be them or Tampa again, I think, for the, what would that be, 5th straight season of one of those two teams.
Just trading back and forth.
Tampa had won, the previous 4 years of the division before that? And some of those were that maybe started with a Brady year. I don't really remember the timeline going back that far, but I don't see the Saints winning the NFC South, and I don't really see the Falcons, even though I know they got up to 8-9 last year, which was impressive given the way that the season was going at times. I think back to when the Panthers beat them 30-0. I don't know if everyone remembers that. Look, I feel decent about Bryce Young. I feel like they're in a good spot. Tyrone McMillan, Offensive Rookie of the Year last year. Let's not forget that either. So, look, it could be worse. It could be better. But Bryce Young standing in the division, not the worst spot in the world.
The question that will always be asked is positive ascension enough to earn him the next deal, and is he able to lift the team around him? Win-wise, win total-wise, you say yes. But not all those win totals can be attributed to Bryce Young taking care of the football and moving the team down the field.
Well, they like to run the ball, so I think that can hurt some of the stats when you go back and look at box scores. But also, we're going to see if the difference in play calling is going to make a big difference for Bryce Young this year with Brad Idzik taking that over from Dave Canales. Are they going to get a little more aggressive? Are they going to try to stretch the field a little bit more? or are they going to stick with this identity of being this like physical running team, especially now that they're going to have missing starters?
They're going to have to run it right up the middle every time.
Yeah, you're going to have missing starters on the offensive line. So a lot of factors going into how they're going to approach the offense, especially early in the season, while Ike Ekwonu's still recovering from his injury and Taylor Moton's still recovering from his injury. We'll see. I don't think it's going to be like a total change of methodology or anything. Like, I still think they want to be a running team, but maybe Idzik being the offensive coordinator can help unlock a little bit more of that good Bryce that we've seen in spurts over the last couple of years.
Go route. I've asked for this the last 2 seasons. Go route first play of the season. Just go route. Just throw it up there.
I love that. Or like fake punt on the first drive.
Just go get it. Yeah. Do something different. You have to be a different team. Show your identity for sure, but don't wait till week 18 to do trick plays. It's like in college football. I don't understand why only the rivals get your trick plays. Aren't you out to win at all costs in every game?
I'm Max Goren with 3 things you need to know right now from 99.9 The Fan. The Carolina Panthers began practicing at training camp yesterday and already suffered an unfortunate injury. Second-year edge rusher Nick Scorton tore his ACL and will be out for the season. Scorton recorded 5 sacks and 47 total tackles as a rookie last season. The Carolina Hurricanes unrestricted free agent defenseman Ronan Seeley avoided arbitration by coming to an agreement on a 1-year, 2-way contract yesterday. The contract will pay Seeley $100,000 at the AHL level and $850,000 at the NHL level, with a guaranteed minimum salary of $160,000. The first-place Durham Bulls continued their series on the road at the Memphis Redbirds tonight. Bulls coverage is available on 620 AM Buzz Sports Radio, 99.9 FM HD2, and WRAL News Plus, with first pitch scheduled for 8:05 p.m. For all the latest news on your favorite teams, download the 99.9 The Fan app or visit 999thefan.com.
Maybe today is the day, and this day that we celebrate love and hugs, that LeBron James will make his decision. Maybe he's been teasing us all this time, and he's going to go to Philadelphia. Maybe he's been teasing us all this time, and he's going home to Cleveland. Maybe he's been teasing us all this time, and he's going to go play golf with Steph and Draymond Green. Of course, they're all hanging out. But someone's going to be left in the lurch no matter what happens, and it is holding up the NBA. Adam Silver has come out very cleanly, and this is why we do not have Christmas Day announcements, right? Normally, the NBA has come out and said, hey, we're going to have a quintuple header on Christmas Day. They're waiting for LeBron James. LeBron James will be playing on Christmas Day. Sorry, LeBron. That's just how it's going to be. You're going to play all major holidays until you retire. The world revolves around you because they know you bring eyeballs to the product. So the NBA is on hold, and so is everybody else, as they wait to see what's going on. But who is the most stuck? LeBron has been wooed and wined and dined via text and personal cameo messages. But who is the most stuck of the teams that are still remaining in this hunt? We know for sure Golden State is waiting to do something because Draymond Green remains unsigned, and he has to take a lower contract than others on his team to return to play with LeBron James. Philadelphia is just kind of sitting there. They're ready. They got a mid-level exception available. They've done all the moves they need to make with Jaylen Brown. They got Tyrese Maxey, Joel Embiid. They're ready to go. Miami has also done more than enough movement to make themselves very palatable for LeBron James. Minnesota is kind of an outlier for sure. And then there's always Cleveland. Cleveland, who, again, also sitting out there, awaiting to make some signings. James Harden remains unsigned because of the potential of LeBron James. Of those 5 teams, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, in your head, who is the most stuck? Who is the most stuck? Who is the most hosed if he does not pick them?
I mean, all these teams are in a decent spot just by virtue of, like, being options for LeBron. He's not going to go to some bottom-feeding team.
Nope.
He's 5. I think the Heat are the worst team out of this group. I think even though they added Giannis, I think the guard room is a little bit weak. I think they're kind of missing shooting. And honestly,
he would be option 2 there, wouldn't he?
As currently constructed without LeBron, I think this is like, I don't think they're much better than they were last season. Like, they might be like a 7-8 play-in team.
Miami, you say? For me, I think it's Golden State.
They're definitely the most stuck, if that's really the prompt.
Yeah,
here.
no, it's stuck for sure. Bam Adebayo, Giannis, not terrible. I'm leaning for Golden State because they're kind of sitting on the aging Steph Curry, the one more run thing. That's the belief. Draymond Green kind of one more go. He would also have to be kind of option 2, maybe 3 in that lineup because they got Porzingis, right? But Porzingis is, he's going to block shots and rebound. That's his job. Draymond Green's going to defend. So Steph Curry's going to have to get open shots from people drawing to LeBron. Probably not where he wants to be in his career. That's where I'm at.